You swore you'd wait for me, I whispered, the words scraping like glass shards in my throat as I stared at the digital image on my phone. My hand trembled so badly I almost dropped it. It was Aara, my girlfriend. She looked radiant in a soft, flowing dress, but her belly was swollen, the unmistakable curve of advanced pregnancy. And her arm wasn't wrapped around me. It was entwined with Marcus, her childhood sweetheart. His hand rested possessively on her lower back, a smug smirk on his lips, while she beamed up at him like a picture of domestic bliss. The caption beneath Marcus' post, 5-year reunion, finally complete, twisted the knife even deeper. My entire world, all the shared dreams and future plans I'd so carefully built, crumbled in an instant. My mind spun, trying to reconcile the smiling woman in that photo with the one who messaged me every single day, professing her love and longing from half a world away. We had been apart for a year. I was overseas for a professional development program, something we both agreed on, because it meant a promotion and a big salary boost when I returned. But now the truth hit me like a physical blow. Aara had stayed in contact with Marcus, her first love. She hadn't just stayed in touch. She was 8 months pregnant with his child. All those months, she had woven an elaborate tapestry of lies, turning me into a clueless fool, a stand-in father for a child that wasn't even mine. The rage that surged through me was volcanic. I fired off a curt message to her, ending everything. I demanded she disappear from my life. Then I revisited Marcus' profile, but the post was gone, scrubbed clean like it never existed. But I hadn't imagined it. The scarf draped around her neck was one I had designed myself, a unique creation with our initials intertwined, inspired by our zodiac animals. There wasn't another like it in the world. That was my undeniable proof. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. All I wanted was to go home. I booked the earliest flight, desperate to escape the suffocating weight of my shattered reality. A year ago, when my company offered me the international program with the promise of promotion and money, Aara had protested fiercely. It means postponing our wedding for another year, she argued. But then, just as quickly, her mood shifted. My biggest dream was always to study in Paris, she had said, her eyes shining. If I can't go, then you must go for me. Just promise me you'll video call every single day. I had readily agreed, touched by her selflessness. Yet once abroad, every video call was met with excuses. Too late. Too busy. Eventually, the calls dwindled into short texts and photo exchanges. I convinced myself it was just the distance. But that one devastating photo shattered every lie. Marcus had never really left her life. The thought was unbearable. I needed to confront her face to face. The moment my plane landed, urgency gnawed at me. I rushed to her apartment, heart pounding with dread and fury. From a distance, I spotted them, Aara and Marcus. She was holding his arm, her hand stroking her swollen belly. Her face looked fuller than I remembered, glowing with sickening contentment. My head spun. I don't even know how I crossed the distance between us, but suddenly I was there. Her smile froze the second she saw me. Ethan, what are you doing back so soon? I turned my gaze to Marcus, then back to her. You should ask him. Didn't he tell you I was coming home? Was that photo a deliberate taunt? A message meant for me? My voice was low, controlled, but sharp with venom. Explain this. Tell me. How did I get you pregnant from thousands of miles away? My words stunned her. She stammered, grabbing my arm. Ethan, it's not what you think. Please, it's not like that. Not like what? I scoffed, a bitter laugh tearing out of me. You've been secretly seeing your first love, and now you're carrying his child. Haven't you? She stood speechless. I smirked coldly. Fine. Let's make this simple. We're done. It's over. No, she cried, clutching me. Don't break up. We can't. I'm just having his baby, that's all. It's not a big deal. Once the baby is born, nothing changes. You never cared about my past before. Why now? Marcus shockingly nodded. She's right, buddy. The baby isn't yours, but she is. I just want a child of my own. I burst out laughing, hollow and mirthless. Do you even hear yourselves? Do you think I'm a fool? We're finished. I yanked my arm free and turned to leave. Ethan, she screamed, wrapping her arms around me. I love you. Don't go. Don't leave me. I struggled against her grip. Let go. No, please, don't leave. People began to gather, staring. Their curious whispers grew louder. The poor woman, pregnant like that, and he's abandoning her, one muttered. Exactly. She should sue him. He can't just deny responsibility for that baby. I opened my mouth to explain, but suddenly Aara clutched her stomach and cried out. My stomach, it hurts. Before I could react, Marcus rushed forward, yelling at me. What are you standing there for? Get her to the hospital. An ambulance came and whisked her away. Marcus turned to me, his eyes gleaming with challenge. Ethan, he said calmly, deceptively calm, there's nothing between us. I just paid her to have a baby for me. Simple as that. I stared at him in disbelief. Are you serious? Of course. It's perfectly logical, isn't it? I pulled out my phone. Hello, police. I want to report someone coercing my girlfriend into an illegal arrangement. Please come to the city hospital to investigate. Marcus lunged at me, snatching my phone and smashing it to the ground. Are you insane? What are you talking about? I smiled coldly. Too late, Marcus. You just admitted to me that you paid my girlfriend to have a child. You only want the baby, not her. If that's not an illegal transaction, what is it? His face turned crimson. Nonsense. This was voluntary. Even better, I replied, picking up my broken phone. It still worked. Then I'll gladly hand this over to the police. Just then, Aara was wheeled out of the exam room. Who's the patient's family? A nurse asked. I stood still, hand in my pockets. Marcus shot me a venomous look, then stepped forward reluctantly. The patient's condition is unstable, the nurse explained. The pregnancy is far along. Don't let her get too emotional. She'll need to be admitted. Fill out the paperwork. I watched Marcus, a faint smile tugging at my lips. Not long after, the police arrived. When Aara regained consciousness and saw them, and me, her face went pale. She opened her mouth to speak, but Marcus cut her off sharply. Keep quiet, if you don't want the baby in danger. She fell silent, her eyes wide with fear, fixed on me. I calmly told the police the entire story and even played back the audio recording of Marcus admitting everything. This is his confession, I said. If there was no transaction, then he just admitted their relationship is entirely consensual. Correct? Marcus gave a tight nod, but quickly interjected. No, it's not like that, Ethan. Not what you think. So you mean you were forced? He coerced you. I pressed, turning to Aara. She shook her head, face full of pain. No, not exactly. Ah, I see. I nodded slowly. So you accepted money from him to have his child? Her head shook frantically, distressed. Marcus took a deep breath and declared loudly, No, it was all consensual. No transactions at all. The officer frowned. Tell us the truth. What really happened? Finally, under pressure, Aara broke. We truly love each other, she confessed. The officer turned to me, his expression sympathetic. This is a personal matter, sir. I advise you to resolve it peacefully, or pursue legal action if you must. I nodded. I understand, but I want compensation for my broken phone. It's crucial evidence. I held up the damaged device, demanding reimbursement. Marcus, left with no choice, paid me a hefty sum. After pocketing the money, I looked Aara straight in the eyes. As of today, we are officially over. Don't ever contact me again. Ethan, she screamed from behind me. Please, but I didn't look back. I ignored her, turning my back and walking away, leaving her distraught as Marcus tried to console her. I didn't care what they did anymore, but the thought of being cuckolded and made into a fool was something I simply could not accept. Back home, I started packing my belongings. I posted a short, sharp message on social media. Single. Do not disturb. Almost immediately, my parents called. Ethan, are you out of your mind? You said you were getting married when you got back. Why the breakup? Is there someone else? I forced a bitter laugh. No, Mom. It's not me. It's her. She's pregnant with someone else's child. There was stunned silence. What did you say? She's pregnant, I repeated. My mother's voice trembled with fury. I should have flown there to check on her myself from the beginning. I sighed. Mom, if she wants to have a child with someone else, there's no point in keeping her around. Don't worry. All right, my mother said heavily. Take care of yourself. Your father and I will come visit you in a few days." They lived about an hour's drive from the city. I didn't refuse. The moment I hung up, my phone buzzed nonstop with messages from friends, some genuinely concerned, others just nosy. I ignored them all. Then my boss, Mr. Sterling, called. "Ethan, the company is officially expanding overseas, and you've done exceptionally well this past year. You're our top choice to represent us and sign critical contracts. Have you thought it through? It might mean another 6 months abroad. Is everything all right with your family?" I didn't hesitate. "No problem at all, Mr. Sterling. I made my decision. This time, I won't have any regrets." He sounded delighted. "Excellent. Come to the office tomorrow to receive your appointment letter." I finished packing and looked around the apartment. This was the home I had bought for our wedding, decorated to our taste. The thought of Aara and Marcus together inside these walls, inside the home meant for us, filled me with disgust. I called a real estate agent. I was selling it. Just then, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Aara's mother, father, and brother Caleb storming in. Caleb shouted, "Ethan, you heartless man! You were gone so long, and now you come back just to dump my sister." I frowned. "Is that what she told you? Don't you know she's pregnant?" Her mother immediately snapped back. "Of course we know. She was waiting for you to come back, so you two could get married. And now you've changed your mind." Before I could say another word, Caleb grabbed my collar and punched me square in the face. I stumbled backward and fell to the floor. Neighbors began gathering, drawn by the noise. Aara's family stood in the doorway, embellishing their story, painting me as a faithless man who had abandoned his girlfriend after returning from abroad. I clenched my jaw. "I see. The child she's carrying is not mine. I have no obligation to raise someone else's child. Don't push me too far." Then I produced the evidence, an audio recording. "If you touch me again, I'll take your entire family to court." The neighbors started piecing it together. "Good heavens," one exclaimed. "Pregnant before marriage, and it's another man's child. And they wanted him to be the father?" Another added, "I saw her bringing a man home a few nights ago. I thought she'd found a new boyfriend. How shameless." The whispers and pointed remarks unsettled Aara's mother. She stood tall, her voice defensive. "Ethan, that's a lie. My daughter would never do such a thing. You're making this up, aren't you? Don't spread false rumors without proof. You two are practically married already. This kind of misunderstanding is unacceptable." I scoffed. "Misunderstanding? Clara and I are over. You come here, assault me, and call a misunderstanding? Don't expect to walk away so easily." Just then, the police arrived. "What's going on here? Who called?" I raised my hand. "I did. These three came here intentionally to cause trouble." I handed the officers the security camera footage. Aara's mother's face went pale as the video played. Caleb, who had punched me, was taken away immediately. I refused mediation. What a joke, betrayed and then assaulted. I wasn't letting this go. Even as Aara's mother cried and pleaded at the station, I stood firm. When Aara learned her brother had been arrested, she couldn't stay silent. She called me. "Ethan, we once loved each other. Why are you doing this?" "My parents were just angry. That's why they came to find you. Please sign the mediation papers. If you don't, I'll never forgive you." I burst out laughing, the absurdity staggering. "I owe you nothing. How dare you even speak to me like this? Your whole family came to cause trouble. If I don't see him jailed, I'd be a fool. Your family has gone too far. We've broken up. Don't ever contact me again." I hung up and blocked her number. Enraged, she found another number and sent me a flood of long messages. She reminded me of our happy past, how good her parents had been to me, how I was making a big deal out of a small misunderstanding. She even advised me not to be petty. I read her words, unable to hold back my laughter. How could she possibly say such things? As I left the police station, the wailing of her family echoed behind me. I paid it no mind. The next morning, I went to the company to receive my appointment letter. Mr. Sterling clapped me on the shoulder, smiling. "You've finally cleared your head, haven't you? We must celebrate today." I didn't decline. At noon, the team went to a restaurant. To my surprise, Aara and her family were seated at a nearby table, apparently discussing wedding plans. Marcus was there too, but he looked grim, one side of his face bruised and swollen. He saw me, but avoided my gaze. I ignored them. After a few drinks, I headed to the restroom, only to find Aara waiting by the door. She blocked my path. "Ethan, we need to talk." "What's there to talk about?" I replied coldly, glancing at her swollen belly. "At this point, you still have the audacity to speak to me?" She clutched my arm tightly. "Ethan, this is your last chance. My family and Marcus' family are discussing our wedding today. If you don't salvage this, you'll lose me forever." I couldn't help but laugh aloud. "Aara, what are you dreaming about? I wish you and Marcus happiness. Don't bother me again." I sneered at her belly. "Ah, giving birth to your first love's child must be quite an honor, isn't it? Enjoy it." I turned and walked away, ignoring her furious cries. "Ethan, you're scum." I didn't look back. She wasn't worth another word. Back in our private room, the celebration continued. My colleagues greeted me with laughter. "You missed out. There was quite a show in the other room just now." I learned that Aara's family and Marcus' family had erupted into a heated argument. Aara's mother had demanded Marcus' family buy a house for Caleb as a condition for the wedding. Marcus' family flatly refused. Despite the pregnancy, they said they wouldn't spend a single cent on her family. They added that once the baby was born, Aara would stay home to care for it, and the wedding itself would be simple. I couldn't help but chuckle. They still dared to demand a house. This family was truly delusional. My colleagues roared with laughter. It was pure luck I had gotten out when I did. Otherwise, I would have been the one conned. Seeing this, I understood why Marcus only wanted the child, not her as a wife. But with her family constantly stirring up trouble, neither of them would escape easily. As the party ended, I saw Aara's family leaving. Their faces beamed with satisfaction, while Marcus' family looked utterly dejected. I suppressed a smile, but Aara's mother spotted me and immediately scowled, about to speak. I raised my phone, and both she and Marcus instantly fell silent. No one dared say another word. As long as things didn't get loud, it was fine. "Director Ethan, this mission is yours," a colleague joked, patting my back. "We're counting on you. Your love life might be a disaster, but your career is soaring. You're making triple our salaries." I gave him a light pat and a smile. They already knew about my breakup with Aara. Now, seeing her pregnant, they understood everything. Hearing my colleagues call me Director Ethan made Marcus clench his fists. I offered him a cold smile. This man came from a good family, but he was personally unremarkable. He wouldn't even spend $2 million on a house for his future brother-in-law. She was just a lazy, ordinary employee. I curled my lip in disdain and walked away with my colleagues. As I reached my car, Marcus approached me. "Ethan, we're getting married soon." I turned, nodded slightly, and said, "Congratulations." She continued, "I want to invite you to the wedding." I shook my head. "I won't be attending. I have no interest in going to the wedding of someone who doesn't deserve my well wishes. You two aren't worth my time." My words made Marcus clench his fists tighter, and she glared at me, her eyes filled with resentment. I pressed the accelerator and drove away, leaving them standing there. I thought I had made myself clear, but it seemed Aara was truly oblivious. She even sent me a digital invitation from a new phone number. I considered blocking it, but then, remembering all the pain she had put me through, I decided to play a little game. I recalled the first time I met Aara. It was a stormy day. I was sheltering under an awning, and she was there too. While everyone around us complained about the rain, she smiled brightly. "Actually, I like the rain," she'd said. "You get to stop and see the city clean after a shower." In that moment, I thought, this girl is so optimistic. Life with her would never be tiring. Later, I found her number, and we started dating. She once told me her biggest dream was to own a home in the city. I worked tirelessly and eventually bought that apartment to make her dream a reality. When the company offered me the overseas position, I refused 3 times. Despite the pay raise, I didn't want to be away for a year. She initially resisted, but then encouraged me to go, promising she would wait. I was touched by her understanding, vowing to cherish her for life. While abroad, I never forgot to send her expensive gifts and even wire my salary home. Yet everything I had done for her had become an opportunity for Marcus. She had been openly posting photos on social media, from her initial reunion with Marcus to their wedding preparations. My friend saw them and directly questioned her. "Aren't you dating Ethan? He's been abroad for a year, and you're back with your first love. Don't you feel guilty?" Aara angrily deleted the comments, but screenshots had already gone viral. The internet was abuzz. Unbelievable. Cheating and still flaunting it. Have some decency for the child. The baby is already so big, and they're only getting married now. Her first love probably isn't that fond of her either. She couldn't handle the backlash and started arguing with people online. Her latest video showed her in the hospital, clearly under immense stress. I decided to give her a little surprise on her wedding day. On the day of the wedding, she live-streamed, beaming in her wedding dress, awaiting her groom, Marcus. I had arrived at the hotel earlier, making my preparations. When the bride and groom made their entrance, I was seated discreetly in a corner, watching. Not long after, screams erupted from the wedding hall. Over the past months, I had been diligently collecting evidence. I'd recovered data from the security camera system in the apartment era, and I had once shared. What I saw after my friend restored the footage was unbearable. Not long after I left the country, she had brought Marcus to our home, and they had indulged themselves in the very place I had prepared for our future. The footage showed them laughing. Marcus said he only wanted a child and didn't need to marry her. Aara happily replied, "I'll bear your child. Only I will. Ethan is overseas. By the time he returns, our baby will already be here." As the video played on the large screen, Aara shrieked in horror. "Turn it off. Turn it off now." But no one paid her any attention. Guests whispered, "How shameless. Cheating. And now it's broadcast like this. And Marcus's family. Why would they marry someone like that?" Marcus's parents were livid. They stood up and walked out of the ceremony without a word, saying to Marcus as they left, "Is this the girl you want to marry? You're on your own now." I watched from a distance, a cold smile on my face. This was the price of betrayal. The ceremony ended with Aara collapsing on stage. Marcus rushed her to the hospital, and their prematurely born baby was immediately transferred to an incubator. Their wedding was a spectacular disaster, and the video of the event quickly went viral. Not only that, but people dug up information about me, the former fiancé. Everyone who saw the video was stunned. "This ex-boyfriend is so unlucky. He was completely cuckolded," one commented. "I heard he kept sending her expensive designer gifts while he was abroad, even wired his salary to her." Everyone agreed. I was lucky I broke up with her. Aara had calculated everything perfectly, choosing just the right time to get pregnant. But she never expected me to return early and catch her red-handed. The video of me confronting Aara that day was also unearthed and spread, confirming my story and eliminating any need for me to provide further evidence. I was certain Aara would be furious, but this was all her own doing. Marcus's family announced they would never accept her as their daughter-in-law, leaving Marcus to handle things on his own. Trapped in the hospital, Aara cried constantly, calling and messaging me, but I answered none of it. Did she truly believe that after everything she had done, she could still live peacefully with her ex-boyfriend? A month later, I saw Aara again. She looked gaunt and exhausted, waiting for me outside my company building. The moment she saw me, she rushed forward, screaming, "Ethan, you've ruined me, you scum. Why did you do this?" She wildly shook me, but I merely smiled coldly. "Was I not good to you? Was I not sincere? Then why did you betray me? Did you ever consider the consequences? Everything you're suffering now is entirely of your own making." I pushed her hands away. "You should remember that everything you face today is a direct result of your own actions." Tears streamed down her face. She bowed her head, sobbing uncontrollably. "You've ruined me. How am I supposed to live now?" I shrugged. "That's no longer my concern." Just then, Marcus appeared, his face contorted in anger. "Your baby just got out of the hospital, and you, a mother, aren't home taking care of her. You're out here looking for your ex-boyfriend? You're truly shameless." He grabbed her hair, his face devoid of emotion. She cried out in pain, raising her hands to protect herself. Only then did I notice the raw, unhealed wounds on her arms, some still bleeding. It was clear she was being abused. Panicked, she pleaded with me. Ethan, please save me. I don't want to go back there. I stood still, saying nothing, watching as Marcus dragged her into his car. Her cries and pleas for help echoed in the wind, but I merely shook my head. This no longer concerned me. From that day on, she stopped seeking me out. However, my old neighbors sent me messages informing me that ever since she returned to Marcus's home, his family treated her terribly. They blamed her for the humiliating wedding and for shaming their family. She had given birth to a baby girl, but Marcus's family disliked the child, and Marcus himself grew increasingly resentful towards her. The neighbors said Marcus frequently erupted in anger at her. "It's a good thing you came back early that day," one messaged. "If you hadn't seen her bringing that man home, she would have continued to deceive you for ages." I didn't know why she chose to betray me, but what she was now enduring was the inevitable price. A month later, she sought me out again. I was preparing for another overseas business trip when I saw her standing outside my new apartment building. I was surprised. "What are you doing here?" She looked even thinner, more haggard than before. Her clothes were worn, stained with milk. From a distance, I could smell her sweat, the exhaustion emanating from her. The moment she saw me, she burst into tears. "Ethan, I'm so sorry. I'm getting my karma. I never thought Marcus would treat me like this. I don't want to live with him anymore." I nodded. "If you don't want to live with him, then get a divorce." Her eyes lit up. She looked at me with a glimmer of hope. "You still support me? You don't blame me, do you?" I shook my head, cutting her off. "I'm telling you to divorce him because you said you don't want to live with him anymore. I have no other advice than that. But that doesn't mean I would ever take you back. Do you understand?" Her face fell immediately. I shrugged. Furthermore, I had no interest in getting back with an ex, especially one who had already moved on to others. "Go. Don't look for me again." She stared at me, her lips trembling, then suddenly burst into desperate, maniacal laughter. "It's my fault," she mumbled, staggering away. "I was so blind. You were the one who loved me most, and I let you slip away." I frowned, thinking she was having another episode, and adjusted the security camera at my door just in case she caused trouble. 2 days later, the news broke, and it spread like wildfire. At the office, colleagues whispered, "Isn't that director Ethan's ex-girlfriend? She's in the news for assault. It's a good thing he broke up with her early, otherwise she might have stabbed him. This girl really ruined a good hand." I listened to their chatter and checked my phone. The first image that appeared was of Laura, covered in blood, next to a blood-soaked Marcus being wheeled away on a stretcher. It was reported that Aara suffered from postpartum depression and had attacked Marcus. I sighed. She had given birth to his child, but after the birth, love had turned into hatred. Marcus likely never imagined that his affair with her would almost cost him his life. He didn't die, but he sustained severe injuries that left him infertile. That meant his daughter with Aara would be his only child. Marcus' family wanted to sue, but because she was still breastfeeding, the lawsuit was postponed. Marcus demanded a divorce, but Aara refused. They continued tormenting each other. Their lives became a tangled mess. A mutual friend later told me, "Ethan, you were so lucky to get away from her. Otherwise, she would have made your life hell." I replied, "Let's not dwell on the past. I hope everyone finds their peace. That was the path I chose. Who's to say she isn't happy now? After all, she had a child with her first love, and Marcus' family wouldn't dare do much to her now that she had given them a grandchild." I said this while hoping in my heart that I would never have to see her again. After my overseas assignment concluded, I encountered her once more 6 months later. She was carrying her child while Marcus trailed behind, burdened with several plastic bags. They bickered the entire way. The baby looked thin and pale. It was hard to believe she was their daughter. When they saw me, their expressions instantly shifted. Aara took a few steps forward. Marcus' voice dripped with sarcasm. "What's this? Seeing your ex-boyfriend again? Trying to be charming?" I shot him a glare. "So what? You're my ex too. Am I not allowed to greet my ex-boyfriend?" Aara snapped, walking directly toward me. I stopped and turned to face them, my voice cold. "Marcus, I hope you two lock your lives down. Don't ever bother me again. This is the path you chose. Take responsibility for your lives and for your daughter. If you have a child, then be a decent father." Perhaps my words struck a nerve in Marcus' pride. He gritted his teeth and snarled. It's none of your business. We know what we're doing. He turned to Aara, his voice harsh. You'll never get back with him in this lifetime. This is your karma. Aara shot back with venom. You're useless too. Besides me, no one else will ever want you. They dissolved into another bitter argument. I merely shook my head and walked away. What happened next was no longer my concern. With my international experience, I applied for long-term residency abroad. Now, I only return home for a month each year. Every day, I don't have to see them. My life feels more meaningful and interesting. 3 years later, I heard news of Aara again. She had finally divorced Marcus, not just legally, but physically. He had been left disabled after his injuries. His mind had warped, and he regularly abused her. Their daughter had tragically passed away in an accident. Finally, Aara could no longer bear it, and their fighting escalated to the point where they both ended up in the hospital. It was then that she decided to divorce him. My friend recounted. That day she even asked about you. I told her you had settled abroad and were already married. Hearing this, Aara had burst into tears. Who knew it would come to this? I replied, please don't tell me about her anymore. I let it all go, and I've moved forward. The past is the past, and she has to be accountable for her choices.